What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Ham Radio Crash Course. Welcome to Saturday. We're going to be talking about something that Jason, KM4ACK, cooked up, and I helped out a little bit. Think of the DEF CON challenge, that whole badging challenge, but for ham radio at Hamvention. We did it, and we're going to talk about it today. Enjoy the memes as we kick things off, and thanks for watching. All right. How's it going, everybody? I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. Thanks again for clicking on the Ham Radio Crash Course here on Saturday. Every Saturday. I haven't missed a Saturday in a long time. But today we're going to be talking about that fun Hamvention challenge that was cooked up. The winner got an ICOM IC-7300. And you might be thinking to yourself, are you going to do this again? We'll probably talk about that. It's probably safe to consider we'll be doing that. But I got to kick things off on kind of a sad note. It hurts my heart to bring this up, but I wanted to mention this right up front for those that didn't know. A really well-known ham, unfortunately, has passed away, and I know Chip Margelli is who we're talking about, and unfortunately he passed away this weekend, just before, well, actually right before the weekend I found out about this. Chip Margelli was a staple in Southern California and just in ham radio in Southern California, but just knew everybody everywhere knew Chip. And you can't really go to a ham fest without bumping into him. And I am just super, super saddened by his passing. And it was kind of a surprise when I found out about it. If you didn't know, Chip Margelli, his family, and Gordo's family, their tradition was to go to the beach on Thanksgiving. And if you watch my video with joining them a couple of years back, Chip is on that video. And if you want an even easier way to remember who Chip is, I will play this for you right now.
When I say ready,
that is
go,
Chip Margelli.
Go, flip over
He's
your
the one
card
sending
and send the message to your
CW
partner.
on the Jay Leno show,
Okay?
doing the
Ready,
Morse code
set,
versus
go.
SMS. That's Chip.
Yell out as soon as you have the message, and then read me the message. You can hear the Morse code. Can you hear it going on?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Very exciting. Let's see who is faster.
He sent extra characters too, believe it or not. Yeah, Chip will be missed. He was an amazing guy. I obviously spent the most time with him at HRO and things revolving around HRO, but like I said, he had Techmoan, of course. I watch Techmoan a lot too. But if you want, Janet has said she doesn't want donations or anything like that. But if you would like, and if you knew Chip, specifically if you knew Chip, Janet is on QRZ, KL7MF, and send her a QSL card. She's requesting that, she needs her private time. Don't message her or anything like that. But if you would like to, send a QSL card, and you can find her KL7MF on QRZ. And if you knew Chip, that would be a pretty good time to do that as well. So my heart goes out. He's a really great guy. I had a lot of fun talking to him. Really funny, and just the ham's ham. And in fact, I've got a couple of images I want to jump through here really quickly before I forget. But let's see. Sorry, Jason. We did all this pre-work for the show. So that's actually at the beach right there. That's his operating station. Good picture of the man as well. Top tower climber. Back at the beach again. CW operator, obviously. Look at these cool pictures. And yeah, this is what they would do. Their tradition was they would fry a turkey and have Thanksgiving, a little early Thanksgiving, every year. It was really, really cool tradition. There's the turkey going in. And again, you can go watch my video. I was there a couple of years ago. Had even the police and the lifeguards come by asking what's going on. Home brewer, that's his homebrewed Yagi. That's in front of the HRO in Anaheim, and that's in front of Gordo's Rambler or Rover truck that he calls it. It's just a cool guy. So there's the pair right there. Gordo with the Armstrong turkey in the middle, cooking up, and Chip working the radio. Good guy, will be missed. An absolute wonderful person, and yeah, super sad. Anyway, if you are interested, you can send a QSL card to KL7MF. I think that'd be nice. And if you got a story, send it over to him. So, but anyway, sorry for starting things off on a sad note, but I think it's important to remember really important people that touched you in your lives, particularly touching your lives for something we do as a hobby, for fun, right? There's people that really are impactful in your enjoyment of this, and it's sad, but it's always important to remember. Okay, so how do I change gears off of this one? Well, the best way to do it, I think, is we'll bring Jason in, and we'll make Jason warm things up a bit. Let me mention Jason. Jason KM4ACK, not to be confused with the thumbnail of Jason Ham Radio 2.0, but you know Jason. He's been on my show before. He is also a staple in the amateur radio community here on YouTube as well. He came up with this really good idea. About the same time that I had Amy and Jerry on after Quartz Fest, we were kind of all talking around this potential of doing something at a ham fest that breaks it out of the norm. And Jason thought of, hey, wait a second, DEF CON does something like this, the DEF CON Challenge. So I'm going to bring him in, and we'll start the ball that way. So, Jason, how are you, sir?
Good evening, Josh, and everyone else. I appreciate you having me on this evening and giving me a platform to talk about this a little bit.
Yeah. So, what was the lineage of this? How did this come about for you?
So I'm literally sitting there, I guess this was back around Christmas, reading through last year's DEF CON Challenge and what those guys went through and what it took to solve that. And that's when I sent you a text message, I think, and said, hey, I've got this really goofy idea. Have you got a couple of minutes for a phone call?
Yeah,
and
I did. I heard goofy idea, and I was like, yes, Jason, I am down for goofy ideas.
So I called you up, and lo and behold, you didn't think it was quite as goofy as I did in the beginning.
No, I was down.
That was kind of the way it was born. And then we started putting things in starting the process to get all of the puzzle pieces worked out. And don't let him kid you guys. He did quite a bit to help out, at least keeping me reined in sometimes with a few of the ideas that I had.
I'm a good sounding board, I guess. So the DEF CON Challenge usually revolves around these badges, and I've got the website here. And this was 2022, I think you said, Jason's, their badge that they used. So there's usually some aspect of hacking and using technology in interesting ways to be able to crack this. And the first person and neither one of us have been to DEF CON, so I'm not really speaking from a place of knowing here. But the first person who cracks this gets a black badge. And if you've earned a black badge, you have access to DEF CON for life, I believe. You get a free access, is my understanding. We didn't do that.
That's pretty much like winning an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah. Because you're literally competing with some top of their game people in the area of computer security and just making and all this other fun stuff that goes on at DEF CON. But we gave away something. We gave away an ICOM IC-7300. And so we should say that right up front. A huge shout out goes to ICOM for making this possible.
Definitely.
The other person who didn't think we were completely crazy. So once I told Jason, hey, Jason, you don't sound too crazy, but you know what? We should probably ask Ray. And Ray Novak was like, no, that doesn't sound crazy at all. We should definitely do that. So he was on board, and ICOM played a part in this as far as where people had to go. And so if we start out, let's say it's an advanced scavenger hunt. Is that what you would call it? A scavenger hunt where you have to think outside the box.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty fair. I mean, you did have to use a little bit of gray matter to work through some of these.
Yeah.
And some of them took a bit more than others.
Particularly to get it started. And so that was, we're going to show you guys all those steps, by the way, that we went through and talk through it. Because there was a ton of you that found me on Saturday. By the way, we kicked this off on Saturday at Hamvention. And everybody's like, the website's broken. It's not working. I had to make an account. I had to do all this other stuff. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do any of that. And it is working flawlessly. And you should think about everything going on and what you're seeing before just assuming it's not working. So how do you want to do that, Jason? Do you want to start pulling it up, or is there anything you want to mention before we start looking at this, or how potentially
No,
people got started?
Well, that was one thing, and this was kind of debated back and forth. I really didn't want to announce this beforehand.
It's true.
I wanted you to have to figure out how to get into the game as part of the challenge.
Yeah.
That may or may not remain the case in the future, but just like with the DEF CON badges, they hand you a badge, and if you don't attempt to try to get into the game, well, then you're not in it. So that, to me, that was kind of part of the fun of it. There was a digipeater running in my vehicle that was putting out an APRS bulletin that was telling people, that this was taking place and they needed to scan this QR code at the ARRL booth. We ended up putting these QR codes. Josh, you have an image of the QR code? I think I sent one of those over.
I do. It's also the thumbnail for the video, for this video.
Okay.
But I figured we'd go back here and just show kind of the start of it. That's what that QR code looked like. And
right.
That was the ICOM booth, hidden at the ICOM. Hidden is the wrong way to look at this, but a fairly like weird looking thing. Like, what's this all about, right? And you would scan that. And I'm actually, I agree with Jason. I think next year we'll probably make it harder to figure out that the game is started and it's on and blah, blah, blah. But for the first go, I thought it might be good to kind of get the word out on it, if you will. So we kind of introed it at the Hamvention talk that was on Saturday morning. But I'm kind of like Jason. I think it should be a mystery in the future, and that's maybe how we're going to do it. But yeah, so I got a quick little video, actually. We'll play through some of this and take pauses as we need to. But here's the, that's the booth at ICOM, right? And so if you scan that, what would happen then? Well, you'd find something that very much looked like this. And you wanna talk through this a little bit, Jason, what we were looking at here? Am I on the right one? I think I am.
Yeah, you are on the right one. So this was just welcoming you to the game. And these QR codes, I do want to point out, they weren't just at the ICOM booth. We also had them at ARRL. We had them at Signal Stuff. We had them. We had these QR codes sprinkled all over. So it wasn't hard to find out, but you at least had to be inquisitive enough to scan that QR code.
Right.
But this welcomed you to the game, told you what the prize packages were, told you the sponsor and things like that. And this was it. To get into it, you simply clicked accept the challenge.
That's it, y'all. That's all you had to do, right?
That was it. It was that easy.
And that's it. That's all you got. Page one and a URL. And so what people did is they're doing as I'm doing right now. They're copying it and they're making a new website. And then they're pasting the URL in and they're hitting enter. And what does it give you? Oh, login. Huh. So I got to log in to play the game? Jason, that doesn't make any sense. What's that all about?
No, that was just a rabbit hole that we decided to send people down because you don't have to log in at all. The whole game was run on a service called Simple Note. It's something I've been using for several years now and absolutely love it because you can just publish your notes out as a web page.
Nice.
And it's a free service. So this year we kind of bootstrapped this thing. We worked with a big budget of no dollars. So outside of ICOM giving us the radio,
yes,
we didn't invest any money. We literally used things we already had on hand to make this work.
I would call this a proof of concept. This is very much a proof of concept. We were curious if one, it's like, would people be interested in it? Spoiler alert, they were. And two, would it be difficult enough that it would be interesting and still like it would thin the pack? And I think the answer to that is also yes, but we'll talk about that as we keep going.
Yeah. So the whole purpose of this first puzzle was to set up how the game worked, but we didn't want to just give all of that away. That made it a little bit too easy.
That's right.
So the 3 question marks are setting it up so that you have to know the last 3 letters of the URL. You're getting a partial URL with each clue.
Yes.
Solving the clue gives you the last 3 characters that you need.
Yes.
So in this case, if you click page 1.
Yes.
So go ahead and click the link back to page 1.
So we're back. Okay. So the challenge told me to come back to the page, Jason, but what do I do now?
So now you have to start scanning through this page, and I'm going to point it out to make things run a little quicker. There's a capital N right there in tuned.
Yes.
So that's your first character. If you come down to the next to the last line in the word
Complete has an apostrophe next to it.
there's a
Oh, Jason, you're roboting a little bit.
thought that my typing.
There we go.
Is that better?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, hang on 1 second.
Yeah. So I'll just talk
Right.
a little bit.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you good? Okay, you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So the C in complete is the second piece of it. And then if you scroll down to the sponsors, if you look at the sponsors, ICOM America, well, we've all heard of that one.
Sure.
Signal Stuff Antennas, probably most of us have heard of that one.
Think so.
Who the heck is Phoenix Radio?
Who is Phoenix Radio? So if you clicked on it, let's see what happens. A number 7.
So those are the 3 characters you're looking for to solve the first part of the puzzle.
So a capital N, a lowercase c, and a 7. And if you added that to the question marks.
Yeah, if you replace the question marks with those 3 characters, well, let's see what happens.
Then you get this page. Right?
So this, correct. So this is the second clue.
Right.
And the first 2, well, the first one was a little bit more difficult probably than the second and the third one. But we wanted to kind of ease people into the game a little bit.
Yeah. So this is literally like figuring out where to go. You're like literally walking around to get an answer for this one, right?
Right. So the latest, this is the latest radio out for microwave play. Well, most people would probably know with all the promotion around the IC-905 that they needed to go to the ICOM booth.
Yes, and I got video for that. So let's pretend like we just said, oh, the latest video for microwave play. Well, let's go to the video, Josh. So if you go do some microwave, oh, there's their dish. There's the 905 display. And what's that? So Jason hid these little cards all over the show.
So those are the 3 characters that we need to solve this puzzle. So once again, if you copy the partial URL, add the 3 characters you found at the ICOM booth, you're taken to the next page.
Which is this one.
Yes. So the clue here was, will a signal stalk handle 1.2 gigawatts? Richard has a definitive answer. Now, it's kind of playing with the idea that most people wouldn't know what a signal stalk antenna was.
Yeah.
They would actually go and Google it. But it's a bigger version of the signal stuff that we all know and love. So if you went over to the signal stuff booth.
Yeah, so I got a video for that too.
I was going to say, I thought you had some more footage of that.
I do. I got it all stitched together here. We're gonna. So there's Richard.
I came by looking for you.
We were. So there it is. There's your next. Now, guys, it's gonna get harder. Trust me. Just wait. So there's 3 more characters.
This is the end of the easy one.
So
this one sends you into what I call the real start of the game, because the next one's become quite a bit more challenging.
So this there was quite a few people, our friends included, I won't mention any names, who got stuck on this one. There was a couple people that got stuck. So it reads, an HT antenna measures, and it's 0.54 blah 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 feet. An RF contact resonates the characters you seek. And then there's another, a URL with 3 characters missing, so it's just FNL, so it's expecting 3 characters, right? And then there's this hashtag 21. So what next, Jason? What did they have to do next?
So the first thing you have to do is figure out a frequency based on the length of an antenna. And this is the one that kind of got people off guard, because most of us are used to working with 468 divided by the frequency to get the cut length for our antennas.
Right.
But that's half-wave measurements.
Half-wave. That's right. So
HTs don't use half-wave antennas.
Well, most of the time, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you'd be working with a quarter wave. So in this case, you take 234 and divide it by that long number, and you end up, I can't remember, I think it was 433,225
Well, yeah.
was the frequency.
Yeah, 433.225. So this is pretty much my major input to this. At some point, there was a discussion of, okay, we're going to get people to go to this frequency, and how do we get them to, like, is someone going to have to be on the frequency? Or is someone going to have to sit there and babysit the whole thing? Well, that's what that number sign 21 does. So who can guess in the chat? I'll throw it to the chat. What does the number sign 21 do? Let's see if you guys could figure it out. We'll figure it out live. I'm curious.
We might have someone that was there.
Yep. Somebody got it. Yep. Ted was the first one, and then Greg got it. So yes, this was my input to this. I was like, Jason, no, we're not going to babysit this thing. We can't be trying to make videos and all that stuff, whatever. So I brought my simplex repeater. And I have my radio set to 433.225. We hid this in the ICOM booth, and it worked a treat. So here's video of that as well. So if you figured out what it was, if you figured out the frequency and you knew it was a DTMF tone, it might sound a little something like this. And there's a pause here, yeah.
Kilo India 6.
Oh, I was sending DPRS.
Forgot to give you the last 3 letters of that URL.
There's your problem.
Golf Zulu Whiskey.
Say that I never got it.
Yeah, so I hooked it up with my own voice to say, hey, this is Kilo India 6 November Alpha Zulu. Forgot to give you the last code for the last 3 characters for that URL. It was Gulf Zulu Whiskey or something like that. And then that brought them to the next page. So you had a little bit of knowing so far. So far, right, you actually had to do a little bit of math, and there was a cheeky little bit of it being half wave versus quarter wave. And then you had to know that was DTMF. And I didn't catch, this is my greatest, I was so bummed. There was quite a few people who got to this point, and you'd hear them key up, and they'd give their call sign, and then they'd wait. And then they'd give their call sign, and then they'd wait again. But then when other people started showing up, and they started giving their call sign, the people playing the game, now they're, like, talking to each other. So he'd give a call sign, he'd go, then the other person say that call sign again and say, yeah, I'm here. Do you have a message for me? And then the other station would call back and say, no, I was waiting for you to give me a message. So people thought it was voice. Like, they just needed the frequency, and that was it. That was definitely Jason's RV or that video. That was Mike in the background. There it is. Mike in the background talking. But so I missed that. I missed really, really funny conversations on that frequency because I was running between buildings trying to we'll get to it, but that was quite fun. So okay, anyway, you find the code. Go ahead.
It was absolutely genius that you came up with the simplex repeater and the DTMF.
Yeah, we're not babysitting that bad boy.
That made this listening to that frequency. It just made this comical for us.
It was
in
very
the background.
Fun. It was very fun. Okay, so what's the next one? Let me see. This guy, right?
Okay, so real quick, Josh, I do want to say something here because I do want to put this on again.
Yes.
I did come up with the majority of this on my own. I could definitely use some input for next year. So if you think you've got a good puzzle that would fit into something like this, you can reach out to me, my call at arrl.net. I'm open to suggestions, and I won't even be able to tell you if we're going to use it or not. But if we do use it, I can give you credit. And
we've got a couple other people that have already volunteered to support, because we definitely want to grow this, but we also want it to get. We'll talk about it at the end and kind of Jason and I's debrief on all this, but we want to make it longer and harder. That's a horrible audio clip right there, but that's that would be my goal. So yeah, you want me to go to the next one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
I just wanted to throw that out there because I think getting the community involved in this, they will think up things that me and you never dream of.
Oh yeah, for sure. So that there's so many, by the way, guys, there's so many things that can be done in this space, and I'm going to call it proof of concept, right? Again, Jason and I were just kind of doing this for the first time. It is going to get significantly better. I know it will, because all of you are going to help us. A ton more people are interested in this now. It's going to be great. So the next one was just this. It was just this. Actually, yeah. I'm blocking it a little bit. So what does this look like, guys? Maybe the chat will tell us what this looks like to them.
This one was another fun one.
This one was fun because, yeah.
While they're trying to figure out this one, I do want to say that we did everything. All of these puzzles could be solved with nothing more than an HT and a cell phone. So I don't want to exclude anyone. Even though you're looking, somebody else has already got it, APRS. Even though you're looking at APRS, you don't need an APRS radio to solve this puzzle.
The only thing that was required was a radio that could transmit DTMF.
Yes.
That was the only thing that was required. An HT. That was all we required.
A Baofeng works for that, though, right?
It's one of my go-tos for DTMF, honestly. it's very easy to use. So, Andy Close, it was actually not very far. It's actually not very far from Jason's camper, but no, this was not Jason's camper. So they wanted me to play this video, and we'll give you a little bit of the. No. Don't do it yet,
Josh. Not this video.
Okay,
not yet, because on this one you actually had to go to APRS.
Oh right. Okay, so I've got it here, and
on the object.
Okay, so you had to go to aprs.fi and find the packet, and here it is. This is HC chart. Oh, I just lost it. There it is. So with this, where do I go now? I go to info, right? Oh no, it's right there.
No, I believe it shows right there on the screen.
Yeah. So if you zoom in a little bit.
So I don't think the tag will get any bigger.
It's not going to, but it almost looks like the exact screenshot at that point. So you do capital V, capital K, D. You copy those letters into the URL on this page. And then what happens?
Correct. That will take you to the next page.
I think I'm missing that
one
then.
Yep, you're missing that one. Okay, so I can give you this is easy to fix right here.
Go ahead.
The next page looked identical to this page.
Yes.
The only difference, and you had to be paying attention, the only difference, and this is where several people thought the game was broke.
Yep.
You had to pay attention because the URL at the bottom changed. It was the exact same clue, but it was solved differently. So the first one, you went to aprs.fi. The second one, you actually had to go to the corner of building 3, which is where the icon, the object was placed on the map.
And then here we go. There is no pattern to the URL. Alan Backman is asking about patterns to URL. Did you notice any patterns on the URL, Jason?
I didn't notice any. If somebody does, that'll be the first time that I've seen anything that was a pattern.
So that's when some hilarity ensued with a couple of people with cameras running around trying to capture people finding the people that were hunting for the APRS location, and this is what this looks like. So I'll play it now here. So that's the spot, right? So it was hidden right there at that corner of the wall. Thank you, Zach, for getting this video. And so this is now let's look under the trailer here. What do we see? A pair of legs. So we've got somebody that's hunting for the location. That's my camera. I'm now shooting somebody who we believe is hot on the trail on the challenge here. We believe this is the front runner at the time, by the way. Well, while we're recording this. This is so fun. Zach got some more good B-roll there. That's a good one. Okay, so that was people hunting for the physical location. So they find the physical location. And then what? Now they could fill out that web GUI for the next link, right?
Right. But it was just the whole point of this one was it was a couple of APRS challenges. So I knew that was going to rule out Mike K8MRD. And
right, he's not going after this.
I did have to go there, but no, it was to give 2 APRS questions back to back with the exact same clue for the confusion factor of it. That was the kind of the thought process behind these. But that takes you to the next one, and I believe that's what you pulled up just a second ago.
Yes,
that's it. A little Southern humor here.
So 146.565 is in the hen house. And then there's another URL with 3 missing characters. So who thinks they know what the solution for that was? We're watching the chat. A lot of hot discussion on whether the URLs were randomized or not. It would depend on when Jason created it, too, guys. You got to remember that.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was literally created. It was created over probably 4 weeks
Right.
that I was working on this on and off. So, I mean, I suppose there's a chance, but it was random enough with 3 characters, and it was case sensitive. It was going to be hard to figure it out.
I think so. Well, yeah, I would think so. So yes,
next year I would like to go to our own server.
We've got talks on that for sure. So a little bit on that. So here we go.
So yes.
So if you hunt, I'll pause it for a second. If you hunted the actual fox, and Jason's holding it up right there, yeah, that took you to the ARRL booth. Specifically, Steve Goodgame's section of the booth, right by talking about fox hunts. And ARRL was open arms in doing this with us as well. It was super, super fun. And you'll see a little bit of that here as we roll forward. But yeah, you actually had to go hunt it down. And I don't know that I have clips of the winner, but I have clips of the winner, but I don't know. We have clips of him talking about how he hunted it, and we'll talk to it. But let's play this a little bit more and see what happens. So the bit of a pause here. So we have. I'll pause actually because then you got the URL, right? If you hunted the fox, you got that URL, and then what happened, Jason?
This was the final puzzle. So this actually took you to the victory page.
Yes.
Notice the lock at the top is now unlocked. It's been locked on every other page so far.
Ah, very, very, very sneaky there. I did not notice that when I first looked at it. So yeah, if you clicked record your victory, it took you to a Google form. And that Google form allowed you to basically say, log your win. The first person that logged a win was the one that won, right, Jason?
Correct.
All right, so then that means I can play this again. So let me go back here for a second. I have a winner.
If he's there. Where are we? We got to go.
ARRL. So that was right? Over by the ICOM side. By the
ARRL.
You okay.
Yeah. What's your call sign?
NATLV.
Oh, you got it. You did it.
Awesome.
You did it.
So, what was the toughest part of this? Which question was the toughest one to solve?
I think just getting going at first was the toughest. Getting, once you start knowing the format of the URLs and stuff like that you're always missing the last 3 characters. Because I had never used that service before, so it's like it's asking me to register. It's like, is this legit? So you register for the site.
You register for the
you
site.
go in there, and then I didn't know at first that I was entering wrong.
I realize, Jason, you can't hear this, can you?
No, I can't hear it.
Okay, you can't hear it. But he's walking through, he had to create a user on the site, and then he realized, there's something I'm not getting here. And he's trying to figure it out. So let me...
Once, it just kept sending me back to the page to
So
okay.
You can do it without registering at all.
That's Jason telling him he didn't need to register.
I started Googling it.
And I think there's one little last bit here. Oh, no, it didn't get... Well, there is a spot where we have some video from Dave Minster and Ray Novak, because they were involved in this in the sense of like giving us a little bit of their booth space to hand out flyers, and obviously ICOM for sponsoring. But yeah, he won a 7300, and I swear I thought I got the whole... Wait a second, this is not right. Where is it? How did that get cut? Well,
if you didn't get it, it's on my channel.
Yeah, go to Jason KM4ACK's channel, and you can see a lot more discussion on that. But yeah, I think it was a lot of fun. I definitely had fun being on this side of the curtain of the whole thing. But what did you want to talk about? We can do a bit of a debrief here, or any points you want to hit.
Well, one thing we kind of joked about was were we going to sell out Arrow Antennas, who were a vendor for people trying to find this fox at the end of it?
Yes.
And we didn't. He literally used his HT, the stock antenna, I believe, is what he was running.
He was
And then
body
he pulled.
blocking, right? He was doing
Yep.
the body blocking thing, and then he took the antenna off and covered it with his finger and kind of used his body as a bad antenna. But when you get close to a fox, you need a bad antenna. And then he said he took his finger off of it, and then that was when he was like really right on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the finger trick was kind of new to me. I've done body blocking before, but I
Yep.
even learned something in the process of interviewing him at the end of it. Um, but yeah, so next year we need to expand on it. It took him, I believe, right at 2.5 hours. I think it was 2 hours and 21 minutes to go through the entire puzzle. We were hoping for 3 to 4 hours to get through it. So we probably need to roughly double the question pool for next year.
Right.
And then I want to run it on our own server so we have much more control over the URLs, and we'll know for a fact that there's no pattern to them then.
KA2AUB is asking, how much power did the Fox put out? Do you remember? It was like half a watt?
15 milliwatts.
Oh, nice. So it's kind of a
And
close
in
in
fact,
Fox, which is
that's
perfect.
yes. Well, so in fact, that was one of the challenges that we were uncertain of, or at least I was. And I set the Fox up on Friday and was walking around at Hamvention making sure, because those are all metal buildings there, and I didn't have that kind of area where I could test it ahead of time. But you could hear it almost all the way out to the flea market area, and I could still hear it at the front gate. So pretty much anywhere in that main area, you could pick up a signal.
Excellent.
So once I figured that out, I was happy with that, and I'm actually glad we didn't have anything that was running any more power.
Oh yeah, it would have been even harder if it was running more power. At the end of the whole thing, Jason, how many registered to the winning page?
I believe we had 4 people that finished it.
And there was an interesting factoid about the other 3, right?
Yes. Oh, and by the way, the game ran from the time the gates opened until about 15 minutes before the gates closed that afternoon. So when we broke everything down. So you had all day to solve it. That will probably, I think I would like to keep it contained to 1 day for next year as well. I don't know if we'll run it on Friday or Saturday. I'm guessing Saturday again.
Saturday's a good day, I feel, because Friday it's the hustle time for video making.
Yes.
But Saturday felt right. It felt like a good time to do it. Yeah, so the 3 other people were all out of Rochester, New York. We don't know if they were working together, but I have a hunch they probably were.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that they were.
Yeah. So the winner got a ICOM IC-7300, a signal stick mag mount for like your car, the BNC mag mount, and a signal stick, which was provided by Jason, which was very kind, I think. And then the other, we actually had enough for 10 other people, ICOM swag packs that we handed out, which was, again, very nice of ICOM to support us doing that. All in all, yeah, I had a great time with this. It was fun. I guess the way I look at it is like Hamfests have a lot of things going for it, right? There's a lot of fun stuff that you can do at a Hamfest. But with all these hams in a close location, why wouldn't you kind of explore doing something a little bit wild and avant-garde here and kind of challenging people, something extra fun that you can do when we're kind of all walking around. And it turns out that the gentleman who won, he actually didn't attend the Ham Nation talk. He really didn't have. He was from Canada. Didn't really have any. He just kind of came down to see what was going on, and he enjoys coming to the Hamfest. But he just QR code scanned the ICOM booth. I think it was the ICOM booth, right? He scanned. Do you remember, Jason?
I don't remember which booth he was at when he scanned it, and I believe he's a split resident because he had both a Canadian call and a U.S. call.
Right. But he just kind of like came down to have fun. He wasn't, you know, he was just going to the Hamfest and he saw the QR code and he scanned it, which is like that's like the perfect person, like exactly who we were looking at. Is somebody who just kind of had a curious mind and was like, hey, what's this all about? Let me click on it and see what's going to happen. It was really cool in that sense. Got a super chat from Mike N2MAK. Josh and Jason, thank you and everyone else who made the challenge at Hamvention. We had a blast doing it, and yes, we were working together. We're looking forward to it next year, too. Well, I appreciate the immediate update there. That's awesome, because we couldn't... One, nobody came up to us and said they completed it after they did, and we were trying to look for some other folks, you guys who finished it, so I'm glad to find out that information. I'm glad we could do it live. I think that's super cool. You guys were close, by the way. From looking at when the records were coming in, you guys were not far behind. We were actually curious. What were you going to do if all three of you won it? How is that going to work?
Yeah, because it specifically said in the rules you could play as a team, but you had to figure out how to split the radio amongst your team.
James Hannibal, dude, we will totally be in contact with you. So let me I will I'm going to go back. No, this is fine. We'll leave it on this screen. I am of a mindset, considering how busy I am and how I know things can kind of spiral out of control quickly, particularly passion projects like this. I know when you're doing something for the first time, get it in the can and you can always grow it. If you try to come out of the gate doing 1,000 things, there's so many potentials to fail. And I didn't want to reach out to anybody but ICOM really and just kind of just do it, just have something big to get people interested in it for next year. And we will definitely be expanding. I'm super into this. This is like, I love this idea when again, Jerry and Amy were on Hamnation and they were talking about that little, not a fang card that they made that did like a physical multi-user dungeon experience. I was like, this is exactly what we need for amateur radio. We need stuff like this to really, I don't know. I don't know. It just feels right. I don't even have a real reason behind it. But Jason, what else? What else for a debrief here? What else you want to talk about?
Well, I can't say much about it. I hope they do come out with their game well.
I want to incorporate that into this. That's what I want to do. I want to figure out how we could, because they didn't come this year. If they were, I would have probably talked with them.
And I have heard rumors that TO may be developing something as well.
These are all the right people. These are all the right people for this. Yeah.
So I would love to see it because I think it just adds some excitement and some fun and something different that we haven't seen at any Hamfest.
Yes.
At least the ones I've been attending are maybe I didn't know how to get into the game.
I mean, that could have been that esoteric that we didn't. You had to be on 80 meters, I guess, at night from the Hamfest. Now would be a good opportunity to mention everybody watching. This is a little bit different from my normal live streams, but I think this was so much fun, and both Jason and I were so into it that I had to talk about it because I was so excited. We're going to do an after chat, and the after chat over on the Discord, link is in the description. Join us out there, is open to ham radio questions. So for everybody's asking, Josh, why haven't you made a general crash course yet? Or anything, your antenna's all wrong, you want to program a Baofeng, any of your ham radio questions, join us on the after chat after this. It will be another live stream that I'll post on YouTube so you can all watch it. But please join us on the Discord because then we can hear your made-for-radio voice. Ask your question about ham radio. Would love to help you on that. And Jason will join us for a little while, too. Anything you would have done differently on this round, Jason, on this first go-ahead? Was there anything we'd like? I thought you did wonderfully, but I know you are your own best critic, so what would you say?
I wish I'd have had more questions and could have drug it out a little bit longer. When you create the questions, it's hard to know how hard is it going to be solved.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should have reached out to a few more people and had them try to complete it and see how long it took. I really was shooting for that 3 to 4 hour time frame, or roughly half the day. I wanted it to be solved, but I just wanted it to take a little bit longer. I wanted it maybe to be a bit more challenging, but it was a good year. It was a good proof of concept. I'm glad somebody went home with a radio, and it's definitely got me excited already about next year.
Yeah, I've got some definite ideas of how we can improve it, because obviously we boxed ourselves in a little bit to just running off of an HT, right? But the sky's the limit potentially with some of this stuff, even down to like forcing people to have to solder something, right? If you get right down to it, I got some ideas that are kicking around my head and how we might be able to do that. Without impacting a ton of people. See, that's the other thing is it's still a hamfest. It's still supposed to be fun for everybody without making it their job. And that was kind of my big thing is I don't want to turn this into anybody's job. I want it to be like an actual thing that just kind of happens that we could run around and take video for and kind of just be in the space with people running it, which would be my goal. I think that would be super awesome. So yeah, we would love ideas, and obviously hit up Jason, but you can tag me, hit me up in the DMs or whatever on any of this stuff, because we're totally down and open. And next year is definitely the growing phase. So we proof of concept, we're in the can, grow it, include more people, make it more devious and maniacal, but still make it passable. Like, so I'm also of the mindset that like if it's not available at the Hamfest that is free to use, it can't be more than like an HT. So like requiring people to have like a full HF 160 meter antenna up is probably not going to be fair, right? That's not fair. Special kit, like I think that's also unfair. But if there's like a repair table, right? So like Huntsville always has that really nice like radio checkout table. There may be something where we could like work, something like that, right? Same kind of concept. Anything that would be free and available to use. That's what. So the carries, I don't think. I think we're gonna. Well, so maybe you answer this, Jason. What are your thoughts right now on that? He's saying.
I missed the question.
He's saying, do it at Hamcation, please.
Yeah, so it was a lot of work just to put one of them on. I literally worked on this. I worked on this for 6 months. I don't know that I'm up for trying to do it 2 or 3 times a year. Maybe next year we do it at Hamcation instead of Hamvention. I don't know. I would be up to discussing that possibility. But right now it's going to be, it'll only be Hamvention next year. Of right this minute.
I think as of right now, I think we keep it to Hamvention, and if we need to grow, we will. But let's like make let's just keep increasing how good it is at Hamvention, and then maybe we could scale it to other Hamfests, because I think that's the right way to do it.
And guys, I don't mind if somebody takes this idea and copies it.
Oh yeah,
that's and you want to take it and run it at Hamcation, run with it. That's fine with me. I would love to see it. In fact, I would love to play it.
Yeah, we can be on the other side of it. Sean asks, do you guys know how many actually participated? Did you have a way to record how many people got to each level? Which that's a future to-do list item, I think.
Yeah, that is one thing I would like to have known. We didn't have a way of capturing that this year. It was discussed kind of late in the game, and it just wasn't enough time to revamp things. So next year, I would like to not make a sign-up page, but at least a page where you entered your call sign to get into the game. And that would at least give us a head count of how many people played.
What do you guys, what do all you Agile people call it? It's the initial least viable product. It's the least commercially viable option. That's what we were going for. We were going for something that would be successful, which it was, right? So we got a feather in our cap to do it again next year, and we can scale it now. That's the point. We don't want to get too crazy on the offset. But yeah, we'll take your questions as they're coming in. So make sure you just type a question somewhere in your question or at Ham Radio Crash Course, and I'll see it.
Someone says not scale license, and I am going to license it for free. Creative Commons license here, because I would love to see it literally spread and being played at every local Hamfest. I think it would be something to energize the Hamfests.
Yeah, so I mean we're going off the script a little bit here, but Ed Sweeney, I have always I have wanted to figure out how to make Pokemon Go for POTA or something like POTA, where you have to go to a physical location and use radio. I've been wanting to figure out something like that for a very long time. So he asks, I wonder if this could be done at POTA parks. That is if someone took the reins for each park. Yeah, so by the way, the reason why you want to do something like this at Hamvention is because it's the most available hams. It's like the largest amount of co-located hams in one space that would even know what the hell you're talking about with some of these questions, right? So that's why we're like, no, we definitely have to do it at Hamvention, because that's where people go for this kind of stuff. But yeah, I think anybody can run with this if they want to. If you had a group of people that kind of knew what you were doing or were potentially interested in becoming players, that's a little bit easier. I think your virality of it only really works at the big Hamfest, though, of people just stumbling upon it. What was something else? Yeah, minimal viable product. That's it. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, agile nut jobs that are watching right now. Just kidding. Love all of the scrum masters and product owners in the house. Let's see what else. Question from James. Any plans to do a youth-only challenge? Might be another great way to get kids more engaged and excited about ham radio. I believe Steve Goodgame had interest in all of this. And if there's probably anyone who could do something like this and make it happen, it's probably Steve Goodgame. So we may be in contact with him in the future. James Hannibal, that's a very good question. So thank you. Quirky QRP in the house, by the way, guys. Final challenge. Top 2 candidates have a signal stick joust. Thank you. Thank you, Evan. Yes, that's very good. Let's see. QR code. Yeah, let's see. Virality. So virality just means the transmission through human involvement. I don't mean like virality in the movie video sense. I mean when you put. So when I was a kid, I had, everybody had a science project when they're in elementary school. And one time my science project was, and it wasn't a properly formed scientific question. I realized that when I did it, but I was just really interested. If I put up a bunch of signs with just a finger pointing in a direction, and I made the path really convoluted, like how many people would actually follow it. And yes, I know as you got closer, you were more likely to hit it. But I just had a table with free coffee and snacks and all kinds of stuff, and I just I had a little sign-in sheet, and that was my project, was just the curiosity of human beings. Like, would people actually just follow a sign for no reason, just an arrow pointing, no name, nothing? What would they do? And I think at the end, I had like 50 people that showed up. It was crazy. So yeah, the virality of just human mentality of like, I'm gonna do something because it's a curiosity. That's kind of what this is going after. Do Yoda camp. Yeah, so Sterling, if Sterling's watching, N0SSC, this is yours to run with if you want to, bud. Go for it. I like that too. Maker Creator says, hear me out. Win a challenge, get the Pokemon gym badge. Someone else wins the next, you lose the gym item. So the problem is that we're trying not to impede another copyright, right? So we'd have to have a trophy or something that got handed down year to year. Let's see. Yeah. So all in all, I had a fantastic time. I think this is a lot of fun, and I hope people look for something next year. Don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but it'll look like something. Jason, what else? Anything else you want to mention?
I think that's it. I think we pretty much covered it in its entirety for what we pulled off this year.
I will also... Oh, no, go ahead, please.
I just wanted to say thanks for your help. And again, thanks to ICOM for stepping up and really kind of going out on a limb for something that was literally untested until we did it.
Yeah, just across the board, I agree with you. I have a couple of things I'm going to wrap up with, but we got a question from Dawn, N5SKT, who, by the way, Dawn would be fun to bring in for some old school, figure out how to get packet going somehow. I guess you could. Anyway, we're not trying to give anything away for next year, but there's already people that are engaged, if you will. What about making it not first to post, but a finish it to enter, and then random drawing afterwards? I like it being a no holds barred first to finish. I know what you think, Jason.
Yeah, I'm definitely would prefer sticking with that pattern.
And I think it needs to. I'm with Jason that it has to get harder because it needs to go all day from my point of view. I think that would be my preference. Now we're going to have to get, we on this side of it is going to have to get more advanced in how we're going to do that. Again, from the point of view that I don't want to babysit a lot of this stuff. So that's my big challenge, is how do I do this without having to babysit it? And again, I had to ship, in my overnight bag, had to ship all this stuff over. This is a really good opportunity, though, for me to remind everybody from my side what I brought was the simplex repeater. And I've talked about it in the past, Argent Data Systems, the ADS SR1 simplex repeater. Yes, it is a dumb simplex repeater. You can turn it on, you can talk into it, and then it will replay what it last heard. I never use it in that capacity. What it also does is it'll run a voicemail system for multiple users with codes, and it will play broadcast messages if you know the right DTMF messages. And that's exactly what I used in this case. So that was a really nice option. And I have a review of this item that I did either this year or beginning of this year or last year, if you want to know more about it. It's literally the best simplex repeater you can buy. It has all kinds of cool functionality. Let's see. More in the chat. Question. Maybe first 5 in drawing for a big prize. Why? I don't think so. I think maybe next year there's multiple prizes. I think they were going to do that. But I think it's still got to be the first one takes the big one. Come on.
Yeah, because
it's like DEF CON with the black badge. Yeah, right?
Otherwise, it's just a random chance thing, and I don't want it to be random or chance. You put the work in. You're the first to solve it. You win the prize.
I agree. I mean, the black DEF CON and the black badge. That's what they do, right? Why would we want to change something that works so well? You win. Yeah. You're first. You win. That's it. No, I'm okay with the later comment from Greg there that like if for the other prizes maybe no, you know what? Nope. I'm sticking to my guns. If Jason and I if we're locked in, we're good. I'm happy. So see, this is you guys are putting too many restrictions on us already. Ben SGKK4EWT says half day again next year because all day really isn't fair for people getting there later. Ben, life ain't fair. What can I say? Coming from I have a son named Ben, and I've definitely told him, Ben, you know what? Sometimes life isn't fair. We did start it at 9 a.m. So Jason ran around like a madman, and set up a lot of this stuff because I was doing the Hamvention talk, and we got it going, and then I guess around noonish time, 11ish, that's when the winner had it. And by the way, we already played his call sign, but do you remember his name and call sign? Do you want to? Can you pull that up really quickly?
I do not remember that. Do you still have the links to the page up? If you click on game status on any of those links, it's got his name and call sign there. So if you just go back in your slides. Nope.
So let's go to game. Oh, one more.
You'll have to go back to one of the other pages. Game status right there.
There it is. So N8TLV was the winner. He did say it on the video.
Mark. I believe Mark was his first name. I can't remember his last name.
Alan. Yeah, so Alan Beckman, like having a riddle which someone needs to solve and will take them to a specific vendor. Yes, Alan, that's in line with the direction I think we're probably going to go with a lot of these. But keep in mind, I'll just give you a little bit of inside baseball working with the brands. They've got to be on board with what you're doing. And oftentimes, it's best if you kind of like throw the football to them and explain what you're looking for and have them work on it. Because if it's just left up to Jason or I, we may not be hitting what they want to talk about. In this case, Jason and I wanted something like very esoteric at the ICOM booth that we could hide the thing at, right? That we would just mention like a radio name, for instance, like a very esoteric radio, and then people would go look for it. But if you ask ICOM, they're going to be, no, I want people to look at the 905. I want people to come take a look, which, that's completely reasonable. So there's a balancing act that has to happen, and that all takes time. That takes time and meetings and, all that fun stuff that goes on with working with people, right? So, yeah, I think... Again, I'm going to say Jason is the reason this happened, and he definitely put in the majority of the work. And I'm not talking like 70-20. I'm talking like 90-10. I was just there for like, I got one. I'm empowering you completely to live your dream on this one because I love it. This is great. I can talk to ICOM. I'll talk to Richard from Signal Stick, and I can bring the simplex repeater. So those are my involvements, and everything else Jason did, and he did a fantastic job. Don says we need a question where the correct answer is it depends. Don, hey, that's fantastic.
Wait a minute. I like James's idea here. Make the Fox pedestrian portable walking around.
That's also not a bad idea. And we'll give it. We'll find a. Yeah, I love it. Then we'll put him in we'll have him walk around the flea market. See, we can't talk about this on video because then somebody's we can't. These are all great ideas. You guys all have great ideas. You need to message Jason or me, and we'll be brainstorming and collaborate and putting it all together. But see, come into the fold, come behind the curtain and join us as a game maker, right? And we'll get you involved. But yeah, this is so much fun. I could not have. I guess this is what my couple of years now with Hamvention being a YouTuber. And Saturday for me is never as high intensity as Friday. Saturday's I almost call it makeup day. And then Sunday's super makeup day. I only catch up on things that I need to catch up on, talk to people I haven't talked to, that kind of thing. This is the perfect time for this. And as somebody who treats this as we got to make videos. We got to inform people about what's cool and interesting in ham radio. I think this is it's so good. Jason, it was a wonderful job you came up with this. And I think right out of the gate, it was great. You did a fantastic job all around. So thank you for coming to me and including me and allowing me to be a part of it. I really appreciate it. So link is in the description. Go to KM4ACK, which you probably already know of this, man, if you've ever done a Raspberry Pi build. Build a Pi. By the way, the Build a Pi script. This guy creates it.
The Digipeater was running on a Pi in the vehicle.
Was it really? Oh, excellent. I love it.
A Pi Zero to be specific.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we got to... How many... Have you... We can probably talk about this offline, but how many videos have you done with the Pi Zero now?
Not as many. The Pi Zero is really good if you want to do a specific thing. Mm-hmm. I don't use it as an all-around field computer, although I know a few people do. But for doing something where literally on that Pi Zero, there is not even a GUI interface. You do everything from the command line, and Direwolf is doing... It was sending out the bulletin. I wrote another little script that passed the bulletin over to Direwolf, and Direwolf did the transmitting. So for those particular things, the Pi Zero works great.
I will talk to you offline of how I can use my Pi Zeros to more effectivity because I've got a couple of them and I need to put them to some good use. So everybody, please go and subscribe to Jason KM4ACK. He does a tremendous job with not just the video making, but the actual providing a good and usable product to the ham community that it saves you a ton of time, trust me, from somebody who's done it the old-fashioned way. So, Jason, thanks a lot. Hang out for a little bit. I'm going to wrap up the show, and I think we're all going to head over to Discord shortly. Jason's going to hang out for a little while, so hang tight, and I'll be right back with you, all right?
All right. See you guys. 7-3.
All right. I cannot say, you know what? I'm going to go back to Jason for a second just because I want to point out something. Sorry. Sorry. I just said goodbye, but I was I realized I got to mention something. I'll probably make a video. And did you post your video when you were talking to Ray he was talking about how pumped you were about this? Was that a part of your video?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good.
The whole interview was in that Hamvention challenge.
Okay, good. Go watch Jason's video because I know this is going to work. I know it's going to happen next year because of how pumped Jason was about this when we had the winner and we did the interview. I I agree with Ray. I've never seen you that excited about anything in my entire life. When we were giving the winner his radio, it was so much fun. So go watch that video, please. Go to KM4ECK's. I think it's the last video you posted, right?
Yeah, it just came out yesterday.
Or search for Hamvention Challenge, so you'll find it that way. Okay, now I will bid you adieu, and I'll be back with you after I end the stream. Thanks. All right, that was fun. I appreciate that it's really hard to kind of like explain things in the rear view with such an active participant type event. I want to do this again. We will do this again in some capacity. I want to make it like I want it to be difficult. But see that too requires thought, because it's supposed to be one day. Because I don't want people trying to break into the Greene County Fairgrounds to do it overnight. So there's layers to this and complexities, and we've got a good start. We know it works. We know people care. We know you're all interested. So I thank you so much for watching, and we really appreciate that. So we're going to wrap things up. And hey, if you've got ideas, if you want to have just a brainstorming sesh in the beginning of the after chat, we're down. So join us on the Discord. Link is in the description. And I will talk to you again soon in that front, okay? But to wrap things up, I want to say a big thank you to my patrons. Guess what? The Patron Picks episode is next Saturday, meaning all these guys are going to decide what we talk about next weekend. The vote is open to all patrons this month because I wanted to just do a big open one and take all your inputs for future shows. So if you're not a patron, it ends tomorrow at 1 p.m. if you are interested in getting involved in that. Even if it's a $2 patron, you get the newsletter and some of the other, early posts to all my videos and stuff that I put out on social media. Plus, this week or this month, you get access to the patron pick. So if you want to pick if you want to be involved in the vote, it's definitely going one direction, which I'm not really surprised by it. So make sure you go check that out if you're interested. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. I really do thank everybody who, apropos of nothing, decided to QR code or scan something that's a QR code and take a bit of a detour, if you will, in your Hamvention experience. For all of you who participated and, we haven't talked to you, or maybe you didn't finish it, send us, an email or a DM. Hit us up in the DMs, either Jason or I, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Discord. You can email us. You can find our emails pretty easily. Let us know what your thoughts were, because we'd love to take them. With that said, if you screwed up on the first page, that's not our fault. That was supposed to be a bit difficult to get started with. All right, I'm going to play some memes, play out with the song. I will talk to you again really soon here on the Discord. So if you want to join us, click that link in the description. Thanks a lot, guys. 73. Oh, there's that Adam meme. That's my favorite. I have to retire that meme. That is one of my favorite memes. Also one of my favorite memes. Also pretty high on my level. All right, everybody. Take it easy. We'll talk to you on the Discord. Thanks for joining us on the After Chat. Bring your questions. We love those new ham radio operators. We want to help you out. Let's talk. 73.